Nerd Theory. Stephen King's It. I don't really know what else I'm going to be able to tell you about this, compared to other people who are doing reviews, but I'm going to do the best I can. I'm maybe take a little bit further and kind of put some logic into it. Okay, so Stephen King's It is based off a Stephen King novel that came out in like 1986. They made a movie a miniseries, a two-part miniseries on ABC back in 1990. They had Tim Curry starring as Pennywise the Dancing Clown. I'm not usually on the remake bandwagon because I think most of the time it's a waste of time, but I think a lot of us can agree that the ABC miniseries that came back out in 1990 could probably use a little bit of an update, a theatrical update as well. And I'm going to tell you what, it delivers. Now, I'm not going to go on this kind of rant about who the better Pennywise is. Tim Curry played the original Pennywise when I was a kid, and that terrified the crap out of me. Bill Skarsgård plays the new Pennywise in this version, and he is super effective in this role. Now, I'm not going to say one's any better than the other. They're both good for different reasons. Tim Curry's version of Pennywise is good for that setting and the look of that movie at the time. Bill Skarsgård's Pennywise is great for this setting and the look of this film. Everybody regards Heath Ledger's Joker as the pinnacle Joker, but that doesn't make Jack Nicholson's Joker any worse. It was just the Joker of the time. Just like Tim Curry's Pennywise was good for that time. To be honest, I wasn't 100% sure what I was getting into. I saw the trailer and it was creepy and I'm like, okay, I'm in. But the very first scene of this movie that concerns Georgie is that pinnacle scene that everybody knows about at this point. Really was very unnerving, and that really set up for what this movie is going to be. One thing I did not count on it being was actually very, very, very funny. The way the kids interacted with each other and the dialogue was really a lot of the heart and soul of this movie, which I wasn't expecting. I thought it was just going to be kind of scare. Let's talk about a little bit more scares. And there were a lot of scares and a lot of tense moments, but in between that, the kids were just being kids, and that's what I appreciated. And hats off to Finn Wolfhard and Jack Dylan Grazer, I believe is his name. They played Richie Tozier and Eddie Kazbrak. They have the best dialogue between each other. It was just so funny, and I was really surprised by that, so kudos to the screenwriters for that. One of the things that they don't really talk about in this movie, and I wish they kind of did a little bit more, was not necessarily the kids, or even Pennywise for that matter in his backstory, but the town in general. Derry is kind of messed up. All the adults in this movie are just very creepy in the way they present themselves, the way they look at the kids or at the camera or whatever the case may be. There's something off about everybody in this town. You don't really know what it is. And I think what they don't really touch upon is that this entity, this Pennywise entity, is kind of just... He kind of is laying this dark blanket around this town where everybody knows what's going on isn't right, but they choose to do nothing about it. And this is going to be kind of a minor spoiler in here. When I was watching the original It movie, I hated Eddie Kazbrak's mother because she was just very overbearing and you just had to roll your eyes at her. But with this film, you kind of get it. You don't like it, but you get why she's doing that. Why she's trying to keep the character inside at all times, because she probably knows that there's something out there messing with kids. So in that regard, I didn't hate the character as much in this go around. Having said that, with the kids, I do think that a couple of the kids were kind of underutilized a little bit. I'm not really going to go into specifics on who, but with a cast of 7 kids, they could only focus on so many, and a couple of them had to kind of leave by the wayside. Hopefully, those characters though have a much bigger role in the second one. That just obviously was going to happen. And for anybody who doesn't already know this, this movie sticks with the children, and then the next movie is going to be when they're adults, so that's how that works. The director, Andy Muschietti, I was kind of weird about him directing this just because I saw Mama. I didn't hate Mama. I thought Mama was an okay movie at best, but when he signed on to do this after the original director left, Cary Fukunaga, I believe, I really wasn't 100% sure what to think, but he's actually a very visual director, and props to him for bringing this to life the way he did. I think he's going to have a long career ahead of him, so good for him. Going back into the story itself, these kids, I like how they kind of dive into their personal lives with their families. These are broken families in one way or another, especially with the Beverly character. If you've read the book, you know what I'm talking about, and they're not afraid to go there. They don't show it, They don't show it, but they insinuate on what's going on between the father and the daughter, which is creepy in of itself, especially the performance of Beverly's dad in the movie. And just so that you know, if anybody read the books and is actually still wondering if there's that one scene in there where like there's just like this, middle school orgy going on, no, there's not. Sorry, pervert. Just kidding. And once again, I don't really know what else I can say that hasn't already been said already. I think this is the superior It movie compared to the content of the original book. I mean, nothing against the other one, but it was an ABC miniseries, so there was a lot of things that they couldn't do at the time. This one brings that to front and center, and it's hardcore compared to the other one for sure. So having said that, I think this new version of it's probably in my top 10 horror films of all time, maybe top 5. I haven't really thought about it too much. But I do recommend, if you're a fan of Stephen King, if you're a fan of the book yet, or even the old miniseries, I do suggest that you go see it in the theater. I think it's well worth it. It's well done, it's well directed, it's well acted, it's well paced. It's about 2.5 hours, I think, and I could have used a little bit more, to be honest with you. So for that, I'm going to give it a thumbs up, and I'm probably going to have to buy it when it comes out on HD Blu-ray. So that's what I thought of it. What did you think? Let me know in the comments below. Please subscribe. Every little bit helps. And please like this video. And keep on being entertained as long as it's legal.